This experiment has been set up to check the theory behind the naked flame test, to measure oxygen levels in cave atmospheres. The flame tests were conducted in a controlled atmosphere, which could be altered by purging and compressed air or argon gas. You can see the bottle at the bottom left-hand screen. A vent hole at the top of the inflatable glove chamber vented excess hot gases. The experiments were videoed with an Elmo mini camera located inside the chamber, and the results taped on an Akai video recorder, now coming into screen. The oxygen analyzer is a Tetradyne portable oxygen analyzer, a very accurate instrument which can be zeroed at 21% oxygen. The candle is now lit, and time-lapse photography looks like the needle is jumping down very quickly in oxygen level. That's to save you looking at such a long video. Notice a very high flame up around the 17.5%. Once you get down to 16% oxygen, it starts to drop very quickly down to a small flame, very weak flame. We're still at 16% oxygen, weak flame. Now down to 15.5% oxygen, quite a small flame, very weak. And we're down to 15.25% oxygen now, and the candle is just staying alight. It is a paraffin wax candle, and right on 15% it goes out. Almost out now. Very weak flame. And here we go, any second we'll be out. There we go, 15%, gone out right on 15%. Now drop the atmosphere down to 7.5% oxygen, and you notice the match head burns very briefly and goes out. Cigarette lighter is the same, only sparks come out. Now increased up to 9% oxygen. Again, the match heads just flare, go out very quickly. Cigarette lighter will spark, but not light. Now increased up to 12.5% oxygen. A match head burns, still burns very quickly and goes out. Still at 12.5%. You notice the cigarette lighter is starting to give flashes of flame, a bit more than just those little sparks coming off. So we get flash flaming at about the 12.5% oxygen. It's a butane cigarette lighter. We've now increased up to 14% oxygen, and the match head still burns. It burns slowly this time, but won't catch alight the timber. Another match at the 14% oxygen, and goes out again. Cigarette lighter, when struck, still gives the same results as the earlier one, flash flames. We've now increased up to 14.5%, and the cigarette lighter will light. Sorry, it's a little bit higher than 14.5%, it's about 14.75%. And we're now starting to reduce the oxygen level inside that chamber by purging in argon gas. You notice the flame's getting weaker now. We're down to about the 14.5% oxygen. The flame actually starts to leave the end of the jet, and there's a section in there directly above the lighter where there's no flame. Down to 14.25%, and the flame is just hanging on. Right on 14.25% and goes out. We now increase the oxygen level up to 15% again. A match head just burns. Still 15%. Another try. Notice the flame burns a little bit slower this time with the match head, but still goes out. Now increase the level up to 15.5%, and this time the paraffin on the timber starts to catch alight. Now I think this match has been dipped into the paraffin a bit further than the normal. During their manufacture, they dip the matches in about 10 millimeters from the end of the head. This allows the head, when it ignites, to burn and then catch the paraffin light and burn up the timber. That was an odd one. Most of them would actually burn the paraffin around about that level. The first 10 millimeters of the head would burn. But the timber doesn't really catch a light. It seems to char the timber. Again, it's gone out. This is at the 15.5%. Now increased up to 16.5% oxygen, and the match burns much better. Again, still burns up the paraffin, up to the end of the paraffin, then goes out. Won't catch the timber alight. Most matches are made out of poplar timber. 16.5%. Now this is an exception to the rule. They don't normally burn up so far on the match. It got very hot, that one too. We're now up to 70% oxygen inside the chamber, and the match burns much more strongly, much better flame. Again, it's still just burning that paraffin, not completely catching the timber light. We're now up to 17.5% oxygen, and this is about the level where the matches start burning right up onto the timber, past the paraffin. And that one got pretty hot too. The matches used were a Kangaroo brand, made in Sweden. And just to cap off this small video, the candle will go out at 15% oxygen. These are paraffin candles, right on 15%. The 15% will just catch a light and burn, stay alight. Does have a weak flame though. At the 15%, a match head will burn but go out, not catching the paraffin light. At 15.5%, the match head will burn and catch the paraffin light. So it burns up about 10 millimeters on the match, then goes out. Now reduce the oxygen level down to 14.25%, and this is the level where a cigarette lighter will go out. Has a very weak flame, then goes out right on 14.25%. And that is the end of the video. Thank you very much.